Ta-da! We're live.
Hello to our hundreds of thousands of viewers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Whiners live show for Blood Scion by
Woo!
Deborah Tully. Round of applause.
Wait, Manda, I can't hear you.
No.
No?
All right, Manda will be back.
She goes.
Yeah. But in the meantime, shall we introduce ourselves and give our rating for the book?
Sure. Sounds good.
If anyone is in the chat, feel free to give us your rating. If anyone is here at all. So I go first.
Who are you, Darian?
Okay, I'm Darian. Oh, wait. Here she comes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Beautiful. I was like, wow, Amanda's so quiet. But yeah, I'm Darian. You're on my channel, and I gave the book 4 stars.
Yay.
I am Sasha of the I Quit BookTube variety, and I gave this 4.5 stars.
God damn, out of that bombshell of like the I Quit BookTube thing.
I feel like that's not new. That's old news.
For like forever?
No, probably not forever.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hiatus. Everything is hiatus.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just assumed we were going in a loop. But hi, I'm Rachel from Let Me Library, and I gave the book 4 stars.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Hello, I'm Manda from Ginger Snapped Reads, and I rated the book 3.5.
Wow. Pretty close ratings, everyone.
Yeah, I feel like this is the closest it's been for a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't happen. Also, if anyone happens to be wondering what happened to the Book of Night live show,
Wonder no longer.
we just pretended it doesn't exist.
I'll be honest, I was avoiding that live show because they all hated it and I loved it. So I was like, don't really want to have that conversation.
I was avoiding the live show because as soon as I finished it, I couldn't remember anything that happened.
I couldn't defend, like, Manda, usually I'm like on your side. I couldn't defend you this time.
I know, I was like, I can't do it.
It would be you against everyone.
Yeah.
I simply DNF'd it, so I was like, I literally can't say anything about this book.
I feel like I emotionally DNF'd it, but I physically kept going.
That's how I feel.
So,
My spirit DNF'd it, but my body kept reading.
but
I
my
almost
body
DNF'd
physically kept
Blood
going.
Scion.
What did you say?
Did you?
I almost DNF'd Blood Scion.
Gas.
Well, I guess I won't get into spoilers, but I'll let you know when I decided I wanted to. But then I kept going.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well, that's cool because you gave it 3.5 stars, so it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
that turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, does anyone want to explain what this is about? Because I have no idea how to explain. Does anyone feel like that?
Well, it's very similar to The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna.
It is very similar.
And kind of like Children of Blood and Bone, too.
I have not read that, but
I
that's
haven't read
interesting to me, and that makes me want to read it more.
I mean, on the back, it does say for fans of Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh!
I did
And
not see
An
that.
Ember in the Ashes. And I found this was similar to An Ember in the
Oh.
Ashes. But
Okay, well, that's exciting. That makes me really want to read An Ember in the Ashes then.
I found it very similar to Divergent.
Yes.
but better, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, I remember reading Divergent. Like, I don't think I even finished it, but I remember reading it when I was younger and being like, wow, this is like the most well-written book I've read in a long time. It's so good. And then I went and tried to read it again later, and I was like, this doesn't feel like it's what I remember reading at all. Like, obviously, I still enjoy, like, the plot of the movie that I watched, but I had never finished, like, reading through the book. This was very good. And especially given that it's also written for a YA audience, there's a lot of more, like, gore and stuff, but at the same time, it's still very well written and very engaging. And that, like, for, like, in terms of a book, for sure, it's way better than Divergent in terms of writing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, especially for a debut, I was really impressed with the writing. Like, I was like, how is this a debut?
I didn't know it was a debut until after, and I was like, oh, okay.
And also, like, since it's a series, I feel like it's gonna, like, be one of those series that just gets better and better.
Isn't it a duology?
I don't know.
Maybe.
It might
Either
be.
way, I'm very excited for the second book.
Me too, because a lot happened in this book.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to read it because I had to keep taking breaks because it just made me so sad all the time.
It was a lot for sure. And that's sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was a lot.
Oh yeah, because that's one of the reasons it reminded me of the Gilded Ones, is because the Gilded Ones also was like a lot of gore. I feel like there was a lot of like just a lot. And then you had to remember that you were reading for a YA audience. But
this one was like so much more intense.
This was more intense. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Sloan was really going through it. It wasn't even like in the Gilded Ones, the whole deal is like, if you cut that person, they'd bleed gold. So they were constantly like cutting people to be like, look, gold, oh my god. And then like if they died, they came back to life, I think. I remember. In that book. This one is obviously not the case, but that also is like the amount of torture that you can do to a person up until the point of death is every time something bad happened, it was like, this is going to be bad. And
absolutely
not lightly written about. It was very detailed as well.
Yeah. Like, I'm just gonna start getting into spoilers, but the part where she has to kill like her best friend and also like the guy she loves, I was like, there's no way she's gonna do
literally
that. And then it happens. And I was like, oh, it's this kind of book.
Yeah,
the thing was like they gave you just enough time with them that you really thought it wasn't gonna happen. Because if it was like chapter 1, you'd be like, okay, I guess this is that kind of book, but like I'm not attached. And it was said it was like what, like I don't know, we had spent at least like several chapters where they were like, let's run away together, we could be together, maybe I do love him and like we'll be okay, and like I can always come back to him later. And then they were like, kill him now. We were like,
yeah, that was
how are you gonna get out of this one, gang? Like you gotta just kill him in front of everybody. Oh no.
I was shook to the core. That's like around when I went into DNF, but I kept going. So I got to part 2. And then, so only like a couple chapters later. And then I was like, I put it down for a second. And then I was like, no, wait, I kind of want to know like what else goes on, because I don't know. I was just like, I can't leave it at this.
Yeah. I really thought like it would be about them getting separated, but then at the end, like her trying to find him. Like I really thought they would be like a main part of the story, and then I was like, oh no, he's just gonna kill him. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's 100% what I thought. I thought that he was gonna come back in like a big way and like maybe help like break her out, and then they run away or something like that, and then he just died, and I was like, perfect. Everything I thought that was going to happen has gone away. So yeah,
after that I was like, okay, so I don't know what's going on. So but how did we
other plot twist, I thought that Sloane was queer for the whole book, because the whole relationship she had with her friend, I totally forgot her name already. I was just like, there's something going on here. The way they're like trading, like, here's my special necklace I've never shown anybody in my whole life, and I was told to keep secret, but I trust you, and like, you know, we can make it out of here. You have this like terrible illness, but I know you can get through it and everything. And I was like, they're gonna be together.
Then she had to kill her, and I literally died. Like I passed away.
Wait, who did she? Oh, yeah, she did.
I literally
like, as soon as they were like, you have another trial coming up, I was like, no,
I was like, we haven't seen her in a while. I'm concerned. And I read that part while I was at work, and I was just crying.
No.
I'm like, there's no way.
Her name's Amia, by the way.
Yes,
Okay,
Amia.
yeah.
I opened it
Even though, like, I knew it was coming, it was still such a big, like, no, don't, no. And then she, like, just, it was the point where, like, she wasn't even fighting back. She just, like, let her do it.
Mm-hmm.
That was rough.
I just opened it to a random page to find out her name. It's the page where she kills her. And I was like, oh.
No.
It's so... the things that, because Casey warned me before I read it, because she had read it before, and she was like, it's very dark, and I was like, how dark could it be? And I was like, oh.
That dark.
It was.
Oh, it's dark. Like,
and the thing was that kind of took away from the reason I didn't rate it like higher was because I felt like it was just all based on violence / like that was the plot and that was how you're supposed to care about the characters was these acts of violence, but I didn't actually feel connected to her character that much. I felt connected to her trauma and like I felt bad for her as a human being, but like I didn't feel for her character necessarily. Like I don't know, I didn't feel as much for her as a person / that person that died. I was just feeling for the situation.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Hello, Casey.
I think actually the part where I started to feel more for her was near the end when she made a tough choice to abandon her friends.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's not something you would see in a typical YA story, because every YA story is typically like, I have special secret powers I have to hide, but friendship is the answer. And,
yeah.
like,
Literally.
Yeah, and like I mean, there was definitely there were a lot of scenes. I was listening to by audio, of course. There were a lot of scenes that I was like, back up. Wait, what? Like over and over again, where I was like, go back, wait, slow down to 1.5. What happened? Like, what's going on? I mean, like, there's the whole scene as far as like we have to sneak into here to the information chamber and get all of the data that we need. So her finding out stuff about her mother and then being like, you know what? I'm gonna get caught. I don't care. Just go without me. And then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna set this place on fire. And then all of her friends come back and she's like, why did I set this place on fire? Okay, not a great move on my part, but let's get out of here. And then
I mean, I don't think she did it on purpose, but
right. But
she's just angry and then it just happened. I don't
know. And then as far as like, you know, those mysteries being somewhat uncovered at that point and then escaping and then realizing like her friends were caught and she escaped without them and could have gone back. And then she just had to like keep dealing with that. And like, you know, she does, I think for me, like the reason this book was not a 5-star was like, there's still like a certain amount of repetition in here that I didn't love. And a lot of it was like, oh my God, I didn't go back for them. I didn't go back. I'm a blood scion. Nobody can know that I'm a blood scion. I really think blood scions are not that bad, but everybody here wants to kill blood scions. And I was like, listen, no. I've been here for about 15 hours. I know what the deal is. So, I mean, like, there's definitely still a certain amount of that was like constant, like, I did something wrong. But in terms of like the leaving your friends behind thing, I think that's such an interesting choice for her character and for her to actually be genuinely upset about it, but to still stick to that decision of being like, I fucked up, but now what do I do? Not, you know, like, let me constantly think about, I should have turned back the clock and done this, but she was like, I made this decision, and now I have to live with the fact that my friends might be going to, like, be executed, and I can't save them. Like, what am I supposed to do with this at this point? And then decisions that she makes from there with what's his face, that guy,
Amari.
Is it Amari? Because I think you're right, Amari.
That's his real name. I forget his.
Yeah.
His other name was Dane. I remember that.
Yeah.
Like, a white guy, but
yeah, I really was like, wait a minute, Amari.
Yeah. That's Casey says it reminds her of Red. I've never read it.
Red Queen stand.
I did read Red Queen back in the day.
Red Queen.
I can't say, but though, because I don't remember that book at all.
But I trust you, Casey. Yeah, when she like leaves her friends, even then I was like, surely something will happen and they'll be fine. And like, I don't think we know exactly. Like, for all we know, they're still supposed to be executed, I think. Is that where we end off with them?
I thought there was a whole thing as far as like everyone being like, you know what, let's rise up against the crown, and
but I thought they were still supposed to be executed, and we don't really know.
I don't think we know because they were at Cliff's whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it left off without us knowing too much about them.
I thought it was kind of implied that like they were supposed to be executed like the next day, and that like that didn't happen yet.
Maybe.
So like for whatever
they'll show up.
it was postponed or something, but like she wasn't like, now I'm watching my friends die. Like that didn't happen. So
but even then, like even not knowing, I was kind of like, I thought she would either break them out somehow or like we would see them get executed, but we just don't know. And like until that point, I was like, oh, okay, this is our cast of characters. And then I was like,
literally.
Did we leave not knowing? Now I'm like, I thought they got out.
I don't know. I don't think we know.
I
feel like they did.
I don't think they're mentioned again once they like start their whole plan there to go kill everybody.
I thought the world building could use some work because it basically only was like military, and I don't know, like I could imagine the hut, but like in terms of the whole like scion versus not scions and like the setting, I didn't really picture in my head.
So maybe like more exposition before the beginning of
because I felt it was like super info dumpy on like the religion / culture in the beginning. But like it didn't really explain the world that much. It explained like, or whatever what was it, Arishan, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know, I needed more about the world than just that it was gore and
Orisha
violence.
I think
Orisha
gods,
They're at a separate jail thing, and the queen person was going to execute them, and then things got chaotic, and suddenly the queen was no more. So I think they're likely still there. Yeah.
Okay. I think so. They definitely didn't die. That's for sure.
Like I don't think we're supposed to know.
Die.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely am unfortunately at a loss because I started reading this book at some point and then paused and read a lot of other things. And then I actually also was kind of similar to Amanda at the beginning where I was like, I don't know if I like this book that much. It's kind of just okay. And then I think I had just forgotten so much. I was like, I think I'm going to do myself a disservice if I keep going from here. Let me back way up. And I went like 4 or 5 hours back and I just started from like that point and kept going. And I was like, okay, now I remember. Okay, now, okay. And then everything just kept going in a good direction for me. And I think if I'd stayed where I was, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. So, I mean, that being said, I didn't go 100% back. So there's still a little bit of the early chapters that I remember from like early July or something when I first read this, but I don't remember every detail as far as like how much exposition there was in the very beginning and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think generally a lot of this does take place though in terms of like child soldier camp that they throw all these people into, which is I think partially why it felt very Divergent-y, because in Divergent they're just like, you know, you have a point thing, and then if you're at the top then you're great, and if you're at the bottom then we're gonna send you out. I don't even remember Divergent that well, but like whatever that was, very similar, except theirs was just like, you know, if you're not at the top, we're basically just gonna kill you on sight because you're not good enough for this. And there's a much bigger conflict when it comes down to something of like, I mean, I guess it's still similar, but it just feels more impactful in this book of like, I was born as a person who is persecuted and I look like everybody else. Still very Divergent-ish, I guess, but like I think the fact that it's also like tied to culture and tied to race is more meaningful in this book. So the fact that it was like, I am look like everybody else, but I am a blood scion, and I have to hide that. And it's not just like, I want to be brave and I want to be a good person, but it was like, I shoot fire out of my body when I can't pay attention to what's going on. So like, there's a real threat that if I get too angry at these people, I could expose myself. But it's so much more difficult because, like, in Divergent, it wasn't like we were raising all these people to kill the Divergents outright. And in this book, it is that way. It is, we are raising these people to go out and become child soldiers, to purposely go out and kill people. So the way we're getting you accustomed to killing is we're going to make you kill a loved one right now, and then we're going to continue to put you through these horrible trials, so you basically have this sense of like sticking with the pack because you've already been traumatized, and it's like a sunk cost thing of like, you already committed an atrocity, so you belong with these other people who also commit atrocities because you've now been trained in this way. How are you going to go back to regular society anyway? What would become of you now that you are living with the fact you killed somebody? And so has everybody else. There's all these like deeply traumatized children who are being raised in a closed environment, which partially I also don't even think makes sense, because like they had already gotten so far and then they were like, let's just kill half of them, have everybody kill the other half. And I was like, that doesn't make sense at all. You have a perfectly good, okay. I also kind of thought it was really funny that they were like, this is what you're here for, this is, and they'd obviously just drafted like everybody, and then like everyone just kept trying to leave, and they were like, stop trying to leave, like, we're gonna kill you if you leave. But like everyone was just like, no, I don't want to be here, and they would just constantly just flee. So it's just weird that there was like a training program that apparently only lasted a few months. I thought this was going to be like years. But even by the end of it, then people were still trying to like get out of there, and they were like, nope, they're all ready to go. And I'm like, they're still going to defect if you let, okay, whatever. I'm not rooting for you guys, so let it happen.
Hello.
Hello.
The training scenes, especially where they had to kill innocents and friends, was so hard for me to read. Yeah, like the part where they went into, I think it was a village, and she watched them kill like this girl's parents. Like that was
oh my god,
that was
real rough.
With Semi.
Yeah, she was trying to help the boy. Oh my god, that was so stressful. This whole book was just stressful. Yeah, and also I think his name was Malachi, like the guy that they didn't like each other. Because I feel like in any other YA book, it would
have been enemies to lovers.
Yeah, like I was really worried that that's what was going to happen, because I was like, I will never be able to root for this man. No. And then he kills him, and I was like, okay, good.
I didn't think that his death was as explosive as it should have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was not real. I thought she was like dreaming it, because that like it felt like a simulation. Like it didn't feel like it was.
It was so fast.
Yeah, like I thought she was gonna wake up and he was just gonna be in the dining room and be like, "Hey," like, and then he was dead, and I was like, "Wait," like, I feel like he deserved a better death, kind of.
Yeah,
because he was such a like an importantly bad character. Like I feel like his
big antagonist, and then for her to just like take him down was a little bit
so easily.
Yeah, because like you knew they were gonna like butt heads at some point, and it was probably gonna be lethal. But I also found it very interesting that while he is supposed to be the bad guy for Sloane, she feels sympathy for him, and so do we as readers, for realizing why he is like so angry at her and hates her so much is because she accidentally killed his whole family. Like, yeah, that's a really good reason to not like somebody, and then to be forced into the same camp. And the fact that he even kept her secret at all is actually a shock. Like, I really thought he was going to expose her at some point.
Yeah.
And I kind of question, like, why he didn't. And I think the fact that she has to live with the idea that, like, she killed his family, and then she just has to, like, hang out. Good?
Sorry, he was eating my engagement ring.
Oh, no.
Sir.
Sorry.
But yeah, pure trauma. You're so right, Casey.
But the fact that, like, you know, she just sits there like, he hates me so much, but it's not like, why does he hate me? It's like, he hates me for a reason that I feel horrible and guilty about every day.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's that's also why it's like even more trauma, because it's like I did something bad and I live with it, and then I hide that part of myself, can't process it, and I just am around people who would kill me in an instant, who are being trained to kill me. Cool.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about the book is that every character seemed so complicated. Like Malachi wasn't just like some random guy who hated her for no reason. Like he had a genuine reason, even though like I don't agree with him being so violent, but he still had like I understand why he was upset with her. You know, for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
And then also like if we talk about Omari, right, is his name?
Mm-hmm.
Like which I should have seen it coming, but I didn't see
I also was like, I should have, but I didn't at all.
I saw it coming.
Well,
I saw that coming, but I didn't see like the Baba situation.
Yes.
Yeah, no, me either.
Like the whole grandfather thing and how they're connected.
Yeah.
And then I was like those chapters. I was really like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, like it's just like every page it was like, and then this, and then I was like, what's going on?
I was stressed.
I had to re-listen to that like 8 times. I was just like, I don't understand anything anymore.
I was like, okay, so he, and then okay, like I was, okay. Well, I trusted him.
I mean, I knew from the beginning when she was like, ugh, this Dane guy, like, I don't know if I trust him or whatever. I was like, he's the love interest, definitely.
And I kind of hated that for the book. Like, it didn't need a romance. Sometimes you can just leave it, guys. Like, we don't need to have a romance. And it did not do anything for the story whatsoever. So I was a little irritated, but it's fine.
Yeah. No, that's one of the reasons I didn't give it 5 stars. Is because I was like, we did not need this, like, connection.
Yeah, because I was feeling the whole thing where she was like, oh, well, like, he hates me so much, and he was like, I told you to stand in line, and she's like, you made me get whipped in front of everybody. He's like, I saved your life, and I'm like, I feel a way about this. It isn't positive, but like,
that isn't positive.
Yes. I mean, I think it, like, the fact that he betrayed her, like, I mean, I was fine with the romance, but then I was like, wow, he betrayed her and me. I hate that. But also, like, I don't remember all his reasonings, but I remember that he just wants to save his sister. So, like, to him, he's just going to do whatever he can to help his sister. So I'm like, books about war, like, it's so hard because some characters, I'm like, how dare you hurt my babies? But then it's like, well, obviously you have your own motivations and... You know, you're just.
I guess I also wasn't invested in the romance because I was like, that's not the point of the story, really. So, like, the fact there was a romance, I was like, okay. I really hoped that this was sapphic, and then it wasn't. So I was just like, all right, fine.
I just wanted her to be happy for just a second.
The thing was, like, even when he was like, I'm so into you, and he like started making out with her, and she was just kind of like very detached and disconnected because she was traumatized, and I was like, this is accurate. Thank you. Because if it had been like, all my problems are fixed because a boy likes me, then I would have been like, this is bad. This is not good. But like, she was kind of just like, I don't even know, honestly. Like, do I like this guy? And like, what? Like, he's going through something. Like, maybe we should just like, you know what? Let's figure it out, and it's fine. And then by the end, she was like, you know what? I do feel safe with him. So like, yeah, you know what? Like, at the end of all this, I'm going to run into his arms. Everything's going to be okay. And he was like, no. And that's when I
cried. Yeah. It did feel right until all of that happened, until he, like, kind of betrayed her. And then I was like, oh, okay. I guess this checks out with everything else. Boys that saved my life, why did we get whipped? So true. Yeah. Exactly. And then I don't remember exactly how it ends. I feel like it ended very suddenly.
The ending made no sense to me, to be quite honest.
Abrupt. From what I remember about it, it was very abrupt.
Like the last word was just the god that serves her. Like,
right.
Her deity. Yes. Like, and I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what am I getting from that?
Okay, so
at first, I remember thinking...
What I recall is they, cuffed her, and then her dad went on a whole monologue of like, I'm your dad. I am your father. And here's this whole thing that you didn't know. So let me tell you your whole generational trauma about your grandpa, me, your mom, all this stuff that happened, which even now I'm like, do I remember every detail because I'm still kind of confused?
Yeah.
But as far as I could tell, it was basically like your grandpa also used to be part of royalty, and he could have done a lot to save people and stop things, but he just didn't and didn't care and didn't do anything. And like the fact that his child had a child with a blood scion is like the reason that you are the way you are, but then there were a lot of problems, and I think people died. I'm a little confused. I feel like I've read 4 books since this, and now I'm a little bit lost, but something along those lines. And then they were like, all right, go throw her in the brig. And then while she was there, she was thinking about her magic, and she was like, well, it's not just like I shoot fire out of my hands, but like it's because of a god that I am related to. And so if it gives me power, maybe I can call upon it to do more than just shoot fire, but like help me almost like unleash this god.
I feel like her being related to a god was so stereotypical YA. Like,
yeah,
she didn't need to be related to a god for the story to like make sense. Like, it didn't need to happen.
I guess, but like blood signs are supposed to be descendants of ancient gods, so I guess that's like,
yeah, but to be like so closely descended and like have such a close relationship, like, or relation to the god, like, I just feel like it was not necessary. I don't know.
I liked the part where her name's Amia, right?
Yes.
I'm getting all their names.
her friend. Yes.
Yeah, her friend, and she like,
or no, Amaya.
Oh, maybe it's Amaya.
I think Amaya.
I don't know how it's pronounced, but where she like cuts in her head and it like relieves some whatever. Like I mean that was kind of gross, but also like I really liked all that, and I liked that she could hear like the drums. Like I don't know, I thought all that was very cool.
Yeah, it was like a special kind of magic to like ground her to something, because it seemed like what her grandpa gave her was a very temporary thing that could have easily been taken from her at any point. So like even if it hadn't been taken early on, it could have been something that like got crushed during like combat training or like stolen by Malachi or something eventually. So like one way or another, it just felt like a very temporary vice or temporary, thing to stop this from happening. So I liked that was a more like spiritual way of doing that rather than just like here's a trinket, but it was like a very still like visceral description of what was happening, but a very cool one that just felt like very grounded in the culture. So yeah, I mean, like I definitely appreciated that it was still something that kind of felt tied to mental health in a way, from the fact that this was like something that she had to keep as a secret, and it was very traumatic to go through all of these things, but then also to have something that was sort of like an anxiety release in a way that was like, this is something that is like a reassurance for you to maintain your power, but to not feel like you're about to let loose at any moment and like you can't control anything. And it like gave her a semblance of control back. So it just kind of felt like it empowered her from that point to the rest of the story, because otherwise it would have just been a matter of time before she like accidentally did something she didn't need to.
Yeah. Also, do we think, because since this is a YA, I wonder if her mom is actually dead?
True.
That's actually a very good point. I thought about that towards the end. Like once we learned all of this stuff about her, I was like,
Yeah.
I feel like she's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. So what was that exactly? It was like they were found in like a castle that exploded. Remember, it was like the mom and
I don't remember.
the guy who was like, I'm your dad. And they were like in a castle together because like she fell in love with some dude up the station, and then she hung out with him in the dungeon. I don't know why they allowed that. And then it exploded, and then they were like, oh, she's definitely dead. Didn't find a exact body, but like she's definitely dead for sure.
I honestly don't remember, but
My concern is though that like Deborah, like Deborah, is that her name? The author?
I think it's Deborah.
Deborah.
Oh, I thought it was okay.
Well, Deborah likes to make people be dead. So I don't know if at this point her mom is actually gonna come back, or if she's like truly, truly dead. Because
she does love the violence.
She does not play around with my feelings. She destroys them on contact.
That's true. That is true.
I think that's a very big possibility, but I do think that's going to be a big twist in the second book. Is that her mom's still?
But then she's gonna really die. That's what Like 100%. I think she's alive, but then she'll die. But we'll see her die, so we'll know.
So it'll be more impactful because we thought she was dead all along. She comes back into her life, and then more trauma for.
And it'll be like what was the main character's name?
Sloane.
It'll be like Sloane will see her for the first time in like however many years, and then she'll just like die, like in that meeting.
Okay, see, the other thing that actually stuck out to me a lot is like sometimes I kind of forget how old characters are up until the point when they're like, by the way, I'm 15, and you're like, you're 15? You're 5?
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot to be happening to anybody, but especially basically a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was another thing that I noticed in the book is that, like, she, in her mind, but also, like, other characters referred to them all as children and not as, like, anything else, really. Like, the amount of times she said the word children and child and kids, like, to really emphasize the point that, like, these are literal children. Like, it doesn't matter that they're teenagers. Like, because I feel like, because I compared this book a little bit to the Hunger Games, and I feel like in the Hunger Games, like, yeah, they say kids. I mean, I haven't read it in a while, so I could be wrong. But I feel like they treat them as if they're adults. But in this world, it's like, oh, no, they're kids. Mm-hmm. But we're still going to put them through this. Like,
yeah. Which also is kind of messed up because it's like, it's the full acknowledgement for everybody that, like, you are all children and, like, we don't respect you and we're not going to treat you any differently than, like, you know, like, we are going to treat you differently from us, but, like, we're going to just be like, you're all just, like, a bunch of people. We don't really care. And, like, you're just kids, so you're replaceable or whatever. And then to still commit these atrocities to them with the full knowledge that they are children, which is a whole other level of messed up.
Yeah. Kind of unrealistic for 50-year-olds to have so many romance interests for me. You're so right.
I suppose you're right. I mean, this was, though, like, this was a book where I really didn't know who the love interest was going to be by the end. Because there was the best friend, there was friends to lovers, there was a sapphic romance, then there was, like, my teacher? Question mark? Like,
my teacher? Yeah.
I was like, and then Malachi, who was like, are we doing enemies to lovers? I don't know.
God, I'm so glad we didn't.
Yeah, me too.
That would have been such a bad decision.
Yeah. But I'm very interested to see what the second book will look like.
What it will bring.
Me too.
Yes. I'm very
excited. The cover will be stunning.
Yes.
So true. It's like one of my favorite covers.
It's so good.
Beautiful cover.
It's stunning.
Love it.
Yeah, does anyone have anything else they want to share?
Other predictions for the next book other than the mom will reappear and then die tragically?
I really don't know.
I mean, I assume she has to take her dad down, which also like makes me sad because the fact that it's like she's already been through so much, and then the fact that like the people that she already was tied to, as far as her grandpa, is like, all right, you basically like betrayed everybody, and then your dad is a bad person, and then your mom's gone, so it's like literally who do you have left in this world? And I know that's like so common where it's like, I'm an orphan, my parents died so long ago, but it's like, no, like this is a betrayal of everybody that you've ever known in like 5 months, and like everybody you've ever known was killed mostly by you, and then everybody else just betrayed you or something. And I don't know, it's just like, it's more tragic. It's layers upon layers and layers of like, I knew this was going to be intense, but just, you know, it's sad. It's just very sad. It's a lot. I don't know how she's gonna get through the next book without.
I just want her to be happy. A crumb of happiness,
We
please.
just want peace for Sloane.
Yeah. I just want her to have a good night's sleep.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like how she's gonna take down her dad and like what that will look like, because I feel like it will have those echoes of a YA fantasy that we expect, but it still feels like this is a new version of that. Like I think nowadays, like when you write a YA fantasy, people are so familiar with those tropes that you have to kind of be careful to dance around them and not quite fill them the way people expect. So I would kind of think that Deborah might do something a little different than what we're expecting based on like the YA books that we read when we were a bit younger, and now what the genre looks like today.
Yeah.
So
it should be interesting.
Do we think she's gonna forgive Omari?
No,
Probably.
No, she said she'd watch him burn if he ever betrayed her.
Yeah, but it's YA.
True.
They tend to get over that.
Girlfriend back. Can she bring her girlfriend back from the dead?
I think they'll probably end up together.
Probably. What if she's single at the end? Because
I would personally like kiss Deborah. People like we need to have more YA without romance. We need to have more real romance.
Yeah.
Like it's just not necessary. And so if she's truly single at the end, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I was just thinking this. What if he ends up, or what if she ends up with his sister?
Oh, I would like that. Wait,
iconic.
how old's his sister? Isn't his sister like a child?
I don't remember.
Maybe.
If not, that would be iconic.
Yeah, well.
You know, the thing is, like, I don't want her to end up with him because he literally put a collar on her that she can't take off for the rest of her life. Like, how? Even if it's like, I had to do it to protect my sister. Cool, I'm not in love with you anymore. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we can come back from that. Like.
Yeah, she can either end up alone or with his sister.
True.
So true. I did get like some queer vibes. I found.
Okay, thank you. I was like, is this just again?
Oh no, it wasn't only you, because I was like, maybe it's a romance between her and her friend, but then
like they were looking at each other and like going out on the rooftop to look at like the sunset and stuff. And I was like, if this was other circumstances, this would be very romantic, but you are in the middle of war, so maybe not. But I'm feeling something.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
Peace for Sloane.
Are we all gonna, Manda, are you gonna read the next one?
I don't know, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
War makes everyone gay. And with that...
What more is there to say?
I think that's the perfect way to end this. Unless anyone has some last thoughts.
My thought is next time we're going to be reading Nettle and Bone, which is the pick for September. You may have noticed that we shifted our books down a little bit. So now we're reading this for September. And then what are we reading after that, Sasha?
8 Perfect Murders.
In October.
And
then, Manda, what was the name of the book for November?
Just like Magic, I think.
That sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's by an author that I'm stressed to read again because I really did not like her.
I should have picked the new Alison Cochran Sapphic romance that's set in festivities, but
that's okay.
I already chose.
Oh.
I'm interested to give her a second chance.
What? Who's the author again?
Like Sarah Hole.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't read from her yet.
This is like probably one of my least. She wrote one of my least favorite books this year.
Is that
Twice Shy, or was
Not
it
Twice Shy. Absolutely the heck not. No. So many people were like swooning, and I was like, where is that?
I love this. Sasha, what?
We can talk later, but you're wrong.
Not just but no.
No, but I am like I'm an outlier. My opinion is very different from everyone else. It has like a pretty high review.
It does, yeah.
But did you read the other one?
You just read each other.
Yeah. I've just read Twice Shy, so I immediately took her other book off of my want to read list after that.
Oh no.
But I like Christmas books. I feel like they're more my style. So
it's better than
I think
whatever it was last year, the 12.
Holly Chase.
Oh,
no, Holly Chase was not. That was like 2 years
ago. But what was it called last year? The 12 Dates of Christmas.
Oh yeah. Oh.
The vomiting.
Disgusting.
Truly one of the worst books I've ever read in my life.
I picked that book because I knew nobody would like it in general, but I unfortunately do remember Amanda loved that book.
I did.
So
I just don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. Like I'll go to my grave not getting it. And
I think I read it on audio, and I just think I was very traumatized by my job at the time.
Listen, you were like, everything with Christmas makes me happy.
I love that.
Some of the books that I've read, like they're not 5 stars, but I'm over here like 8 million gold stars to certain books. Like they're not, but like the time you read them, the environment you're reading in, like it all plays a role for sure.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, we have Nettle and Bone, which is not a
I'm very excited to read that.
Just in my throat.
Oh.
It's a lot shorter than I thought it was.
Yes.
It's a lot what?
Shorter.
Oh yeah.
Like I got it from the library and I was like, hello? Where is the substance?
What is this?
This made me very happy where I was like, it's short. Yes. I don't have to put this off until the day before the show.
Yay. So yeah, that'll be on Rachel's channel.
Yeah.
And thank you, Casey, for joining us. And thank you, everyone else, if anyone is watching this back. And we'll see you next month.
See you then. Bye. Bye.